日どんな調子は？
高いですね。今日18キロ。
よし、打って投げて頑張るぞ、やっつけるぞ。負けねえぞ。
There was a dynasty, like the Yankee organization. Players came and went, but the name itself lived on.
They were the Davids against Goliath. Nobody thought they had a chance.
Well, I think the Asahis were really special. They were the little ones that could outrun them, outhit them.
They were heroes, great heroes, because in this limited world in which we were growing up, these people were showing, no matter what the society around us said, they're showing that they can be just as good as, if not better.
People often talk about baseball as if it was something sacred, a metaphor for life. Maybe that's a bit overblown, but the truth is, a lot can happen within those 4 straight lines. Just a few blocks east of downtown Vancouver was the area called Little Tokyo. In the 1920s, this was home to most of British Columbia's 20,000 Japanese. They had come to seek their fortunes at the turn of the century, but no one expected them to stay. Industrious intruders was one of the more polite names they were called. And when Japanese fishermen got too industrious, the government revoked 1/3 of their fishing licenses. Still, they remained optimistic. And besides, they had baseball.
I'm not saying that Japanese people are baseball crazy, but a certain way they're crazy, all right. As long as they see a baseball, they're happy.
If Americans hadn't invented baseball, the Japanese would have. The teamwork on the field is a perfect expression of wa, the concept of group strength, central to Japanese philosophy. At the same time, the duel between the batter and the pitcher resembles the solo encounter between 2 samurai swordsmen. Baseball was a perfect cultural fit.
Wherever you went in the Japanese community, you could see baseball. Little kids playing baseball with tennis balls, okay, so they don't get hurt, okay? Sponge balls after that, which bounce a heck of a lot more, and then working their way into hardball.
Fathers tossed the ball with their sons. Grandmothers memorized major league box scores, and mothers laid down the law on Sundays.
My mother's rule went like this. She told the minister, they have to come to church every Sunday. It's a regular thing, okay? But if there is a Sunday morning ball game on, and the leagues they're playing in, this is not pickup, but the formal league, well, I'm sorry. They're going to have to skip church.
When Frank wasn't playing baseball, he was watching it. To be specific, he was watching his cherished Asahi team. Frank never missed a game, and he wasn't alone.
Our kindergarten was on the right field side of the Paul grounds. We could see out of our kindergarten window. All the stores are starting to close because everybody was going to the games.
I used to come home from a Japanese school around 5:30, and I'd see my father out by the right field with his lunch pail under his arm and watching baseball. I'd sit there and enjoy watching him because he seemed so happy. He laughed so much when he was watching the baseball, and at home, I guess I didn't hear it very much because, life was hard. Life was hard.
At first, the infatuation with baseball stayed inside the community. Japanese teams only played other Japanese teams. The Asahi had been the brainchild of a Powell Street dry cleaner named Harry Miyazaki. His dream was to create a team to take on the hard-hitting sluggers of Anglo-Vancouver. Harry wanted to win the Terminal League championship, something no Japanese team had even tried.
He wanted to prove that they were equal to the Caucasians. I don't know if anybody else believed they could do it, because here the opposition is so huge. They were the Davids against Goliath. Nobody thought they had a chance.
To have even dared to do that must have been something. They must have had to believe in themselves. They were saying, look, we're just as good as you are, and we're going to prove it.
Harry Miyazaki began recruiting the best players from the Japanese community. He started them young. Miki Maekawa with his best friend Ken Kutsukake were just 8 years old when Mr. Miyazaki chose them to be groomed for the Asahi team.
It was a thrill to, get the uniform Asahi.
I guess you didn't go to bed with it, eh?
Not really, I don't think.
See,
but
I think I went to bed with it for about a week.
The boys would go on to become legendary players. In baseball terms, they were battery mates. Mickey, a pitcher. Ken, a catcher.
Pitchers shine all the time, They win the game, they're star. Catcher, they don't get any hand. Only time, gotta throw them out at second base. If they steal on me, I used to get so frustrated.
Back then, they'd see each other every morning at the baseball diamond. 7 o'clock sharp, no excuses.
We ate, slept, and dreamed baseball.
But it would take more than practice. In the first season, hostile fans forced the boys off the field. Even when they were allowed to play, it was soon obvious that they were no match for their bigger and stronger opponents. They'd have to come up with a whole new ball game.
You have to when you haven't got the build. Because it doesn't matter how short you are, you must have a certain amount up here, equivalent to a tall fella.
What the team came up with was brain ball, a game of strategy. Brain ball depended on speed and skill, and the boys played it like chess masters.
As far as the defense, they were the best ball players around. You couldn't hit a ball through the infield past them. They were just like cats onto it.
Al Stringbean Moser, the 6'2" starting pitcher for the downtown Patricias, played against the Asahi at the Powell Street grounds.
But the only thing they couldn't do, not totally, but they couldn't hit worth a lick.
They made up for their lack of hitting power by relying on the bunt, a technique they practiced with martial intensity.
You take a person like Mr. Ito. He was a third baseman. He could bunt with a chopstick wherever he wants to.
They could bunt like a fella shooting snooker. They dropped the ball, first base, and if they did bunt, they were fast as heck. Where it'd take me a week to get to first base, they're down there in a few seconds.
Bring your
2
chopsticks.
Yeah, okay.
Here, make a diamond.
Now, that's home plate here, right? Okay, home here. Okay, here's home plate. Everybody
First
they
base,
got
second
their
base, third base. Okay, that's the way you want it.
Okay.
Okay.
The short
Might as well put the pitcher's box in there.
Pitcher throws to the catcher, right? He's the batter, he's gonna bunt. And the bunt, maybe you go here, right? Before he goes here, he's running. And this guy's running. And they both score.
You have a squeeze play all the time.
They were thieves. They won a game 3-1 and never had one hit. It was all bunts, steals, and the opposition trying to throw them out and making errors. So they won 3-1 without a hit. Only thing hard about pitching to them is you had about half the size of a strike zone. Somebody pitching to me, they got about 3 or 4 feet. To one of those guys, you had nothing. And then on top of it, they'd crouch down quite a bit, make it even worse.
Nagi Nishihara was a star pitcher for the Asahi team.
I was the tallest one in the whole bunch. I was only about 5'10". And most of them was about 5'3", 5'4", you know. But I like to see the tall guy come to bat. You can fix him up pretty good. Yeah. The taller you get, you see, you got more weak spot.
In 1926, the Asahis fought their way to the Terminal League playoffs and won. It was their first big victory. That same year, Vancouver fans turned around and voted the Asahi the most popular team in the city.
White people started to cheer for the Asahi team. That's how good they got. So it was something to see and listen to when you're in the grandstand too. It was something to notice.
It was a period when, you know, if you were Asian, and especially on the West Coast, people just thought you were almost subhuman. We didn't have the vote. There were places you couldn't go. I wondered for years why it was that all my memories of theaters are looking down, and it's because we had to go upstairs. So, I mean, in that kind of a world, to be accepted as an equal, that meant a great deal.
Wearing the Asahi uniform became the dream of every Japanese-Canadian boy. One player's father would patiently clean his son's baseball shoes before every game.
They gave us a sense of pride, I guess, more than anything else. You know. They were our idols. They were our team, regardless of where you lived on the coast. They were fighting for us, fighting for all Japanese, despite all the hardships that were imposed on us. They showed us they could fight. They showed us they could overcome anything.
Throughout the 1930s, the Asahis were unstoppable. Top of the Terminal League in 1930, 32, and 33. Triple League champions after that. And in 1937, they won the Pacific Northwest Championship and won it again and again, 5 years in a row. Until 1941, the team's last summer. December 7th, 1941, began as an ordinary sunny Sunday.
territories and forces, and upon British territories and forces in the Pacific. Out of a blue sky on a quiet Sunday afternoon, we in Canada heard that Hitler's Axis partner in the Orient had joined Germany in her effort at world domination. When 5 days later, Canadian forces landed at Hong Kong, I made the statement that the defense against the
But that was the day Japan launched attacks on targets right across the Pacific, including Americans at Pearl Harbor and Canadians defending Hong Kong. By the end of the day, Canada was at war with Japan. And suddenly, Japanese people, all Japanese people, were the enemy.
We were treated as a mass, as a group. It was called a mass evacuation. I called it a mass expulsion from the, British Columbia coast.
Japanese nationals will, in principle, be treated in the same way as nationals of Germany.
And then, whether we were immigrants, immigrants who had then got citizenship or naturalized, or Canadian-born, we were all classified as enemy aliens.
They are part of the defense of every country which still enjoyed freedom.
See, they told us if us guys go quietly, they won't touch your family or nothing. That's why we went quietly. Yeah, we didn't want to go, but that's the way it have to be.
Of Canadian residents of Japanese origin. Those who are considered dangerous are being interned at once.
And it was so sudden. And then the evacuation order came so swiftly. And I guess you know the story, that people were all herded into the exhibition grounds. And when they were moved in there, the stench of the animal and the livestock that were there previously was still there. All the women in one building, men in other. So, those are memories I will never forget.
All other Japanese nationals and Japanese naturalized since 1922.
Asahi bat boy, Nabi Hayashi, came home to find his father gone. It was 2 days before he found out his father had been pulled from his job and detained at the Hastings Park exhibition grounds.
He was a veteran of the First World War, and he asked the government, says, I fought for your country, and you're going to treat us like this? I told my dad, your car is gone. He just bought it. Only had 25 miles on there, and he didn't believe it that it was gone, and also, everything else after that, see.
Persons in Canada of Japanese origin have been registered and fingerprinted. The competent authorities are satisfied.
Women and children were transported to ghost towns and hastily erected detention camps deep in the interior of British Columbia. The men were sent to work camps.
Some were only given 24 hours to leave their homes, and they could barely carry 2 suitcases. But within those meager suitcases were the Asahi photos, scrapbooks, and they took it with them to the camps, so you know how much the Asahis meant to them. And
New Denver, British Columbia, a valley in the Kootenay Mountains.
We lived in the tent the first year. That year was 1942, was one of the coldest years. The whole Slocan Lake froze up, and we had over 80 inches of snow that winter. And we had no water or no electricity. And that first winter was terrible. We call it the shack. You know, it wasn't a house at all. Your pail of water froze up by the sink there overnight. And your window used to have 4 inches of ice. So when you woke up next morning, that's how it was.
As for the unstoppable Asahis, along with the community, the team simply disappeared.
It was terrible. Terrible. We knew at that time that we would never be able to play as an Asahi team because we were dispersed to so many different ghost camps. Everybody was dispersed. Some of us went to like Lemon Creek, some went to Castle, some went to Slocan, some to Tashmi. I think actually I cried when the team had to break up. You know, when we knew that in 1942 we would never be able to play together again. So that was a sad part, yeah.
To me, you know, my prime time was taken away playing ball by the war. So I only play Asahi for 3 years. So this is one part that's I regret very much, you know, I couldn't play anymore.
Kei Kamanishi was the son of a wealthy man. His father had owned a big lumber company. Families that had enough money could be relocated to a supervised town in British Columbia. Kei's family decided to try Lillooet. They thought they might be welcome there. They were wrong. Lillooet was segregated.
We could go just before that bridge. This side of the bridge. That's the end of our, you know, freedoms, not across the bridge. We have to carry the water from Fraser River, and we used to look the town site, and I hope that one day, if freedoms comes, we could go across the river and see the other people there, and I hope that that day will come soon.
I had to register them, and they had the roadblocks. And there used to be a guard there, 2 guards, for 24 hours a day. And they weren't allowed beyond those limits without a permit. It took some time, often as much as a month, to locate their relatives and get the family together again. So nobody was doing them any favors.
After a year of internment, it became clear that this was not a temporary measure. On January 23, 1943, Ottawa passed an order in council under the War Measures Act. All confiscated Japanese property was to be sold.
One individual, he'd just bought a new boat for $50,000 a month before they evacuated him. And I think he gave him $100 for it.
By now, every aspect of their lives was controlled. At the Lemon Creek camp, the man who enforced the rules was Commissioner James Burns.
Jimmy Burns ran the farm that the place was built on, and he was pretty abrupt. And they were the enemy. Make no mistake about it. They're the enemy.
But there was one thing that could not be sold, confiscated, or taken away. And little by little, it began to reappear in the camps.
There were a lot of ex-Asahi players in the camps. Or in our case, we had my brother Kaz and a couple others. And we all said, well, let's get together.
In the Kazlo camp, Nagi Nishihara met up with former Asahi teammate Ken Kutsukake.
So I said to Ken, let's form the baseball team. So we did.
Everybody that wanted to play had a place on the team. So some were bad players, some were good players, but it didn't matter.
Everybody's got a glove of a ball, you know. Just bring it out and you just throw it around. And then go to the field there and bat it around, you know.
We took such great pleasure out of playing ball again. It had a feeling, let's show them, you know. I think that's what it was too. Let's show them that they can't keep us down. They can't keep us down forever.
I went there in mid-August, okay. And I got there, and there were two Japanese-Canadian teams. And the most wonderful thing about it is that the two captains of the teams were two Asahi. Nagi Nishihara, the pitcher, and Ken Kutsukake, who was the catcher. They were battery mates. And so I ended up on Nagi's team. It was really quite remarkable.
I remember in the evening, we knew there was a baseball game going. So we would all my friends and I, we would go down and we'd all sit on the railway tracks and cheer the teams on. Didn't matter about the quality of the game. It was baseball.
All their feelings went towards watching the ball games. I think I helped to lift up the morale and the spirits of the people in the camps.
Even Jack Duggan remembers the feeling. Despite strict orders not to mingle with the enemy, the Mountie couldn't resist the lure of the Asahis.
Oh yeah, they were good. I played with them. I was nowhere near their caliber, but I could hit farther than they ever dreamed of hitting, except for Kazuga. Kaz used to always try and pitch to me just for the buggery, and then laugh if I'd strike out, and I'd laugh if he struck me out, and one thing or another.
In Lillooet, Kei Kamanishi put together a team from the boys in the camp. Soon, Kei noticed that the RCMP guards would linger to watch them play.
I asked him about this constable. What do you think? I told him that we have a good softball team in East Side. Why don't you make one team in Town Side? And let's play each other. He thought it was a real good idea, and let's start playing each other every weekend.
The first time Kei Kamanishi freely crossed the Forbidden Bridge, he was on his way to play baseball. Lillooet was desegregated.
First time we went to across the bridge, I thought, well, this is a real freedom, you know. And you could see all the town sites, and could go to theaters and stores by, you know, shopping yourselves. And so, you know, it's a real good feeling after that.
All the different camps wanted to play each other. each one proud of their teams. They're better than the other teams, and we had to find out. So that culminated in the Slocan Valley Championship.
We weren't supposed to leave that camp without permission from the Royal Mounted Police. So the Mounties would make arrangements to take them to another camp, so that's how much it meant to them as well as to the Japanese. So it's amazing what happened.
But Lemon Creek was under the thumb of Commissioner Jimmy Burns. The boys there didn't even have a proper field to practice in. Kiyoshi Suga wanted his big brother, star pitcher Kaz Suga, to appeal to the boss.
He was the only one with the nerve to confront Mr. Burns to see if they could convert his farm for them to practice ball in. Well, Burns let them build the diamond, and it strikes me that he wanted something in return.
What Jimmy Burns wanted was the championship. There were rumors of a big wager. Kaz promised Burns the Lemon Creek All-Stars would bring home the trophy. And the players got their diamond. The Slocan Valley Championship was played on July 1st, 1943, Dominion Day.
I still remember Lemon Creek when we had that July the 1st weekend in Slocan when all the 4 teams from the different camps there came out to play, and we were all out there.
Had to be a couple thousand people. Everybody was leaning on the rails all the way around. And all the whites in town were there, all the Japanese.
I still remember Kasuga up there pitching, and he'd frown, and he'd have that smirk on his face sometimes, and then he would throw the ball and strike people out, so that was just absolutely wonderful to watch.
It came down to Lemon Creek versus Slocan. At the bottom of the 9th, the score was tied. With 2 men on base, Kaz-Suga came to bat. He was walked. Up next was Yuki Uno. He laid down a perfect bunt and finished it off with a classic Asahi squeeze play.
Of course, when Lemon Creek won, we thought we were gods. We thought we had the best team in the whole world. And, we were so proud of them.
Jimmy Burns got his trophy. But the people in the camps got something more. In that moment, something was relived, recaptured, remembered. On August 15, 1945, Japan surrendered to the Allies. Suddenly, everyone was heading for home. Almost everyone. Unlike Japanese Americans, most Japanese Canadians would never go home again.
We couldn't. The restrictions weren't lifted until 2-3 years after the war. By then, you see, while we were in Ghost Town, we were given a choice. Go east of Canada or go repatriate yourself to Japan. But what's that to us? We're Canadians, born in Canada. What were we gonna do in foreign countries?
You knew it was like the beginning of the end. So, what was very traumatic was when the first boatload was leaving for Japan, and that was in May of 1946, and one of my best friends was on that first boatload. I still remember crying so much that I just ran out of tears. So nowadays I hardly ever cry because it's gone. There are no more tears.
That was the end of the Vancouver Japanese as a community. It never was the same again. Not as it was on Powell Street, not even as it was in the camps.
It was secure. Nobody could harm you there. No one was going to spit on you and call you a dirty Jap. It was a bit of a cocoon, you know, because everybody around looked like you, and you had your own language. What was going to happen when you went east?
Everybody had to start all over again. Once the war settled down and the camps were closed, and people ended up in their final destinations.
Like everyone else, the Asahi players were scattered across the country. Outfielder Kei Kamanishi packed tomatoes in Kamloops. Leading batter Junji Ito worked as a mechanic in Montreal. Shortstop Roy Yamamura parked cars in Hamilton.
We used to hear about how so-and-so was working here and so-and-so was working there, and they were all in labor-intensive jobs. There was no longer a Japanese community that thought they were extra special, so that they would go out of their way to hire them. So they went downhill, I think, after.
Pitcher Miki Maekawa ended up in Toronto with his wife and 2 little girls. He worked in a car wash.
I don't think anybody went back to their, well, former residence or their business. It's all gone. We had a house, and that was sold, and the business was sold too. It's hard for you to believe it.
Yuki Uno, the man who'd placed the winning bunt for Lemon Creek, went to Montreal.
Not very many went back, I don't think, because they know what it's like in Vancouver. Jap, once you're a Jap, you know?
Yuki worked for years making boxes in a cardboard factory. Now approaching 90, he suspects the Asahis are long forgotten.
I don't know, it's hard to say. Because even now, younger kids don't know who I am or where I played or anything like that. No? They're not interested.
Bonjour, Monsieur Odo. Ça va bien? Oui. Acheter un journal?
But then, heck, to be like me, it's nothing.
Et voilà votre chance. 25 sous.
Yeah, any Joe could be like me. I mean, yeah. So, here I am, Joe.
When I think of the past, it's just not the material losses, it's the loss of the Asahi baseball team and what it meant to people like my father. I remember saving my money from my hard-earned summer money and giving him for Father's Day a season's ticket to the Hamilton baseball team. And I kept on thinking that maybe I'm bringing a little bit of joy back into his life. And so I did that. And I guess I was forever trying to get that back for him. It was never retrieved, although I tried.
Baseball was the spirit of the Japanese community. A spirit, it turns out, that won't die easily. In 2001, the city of Uji challenged its Canadian sister city, Kamloops, to a baseball game in Japan. The Kamloops team needed a ringer, so they recruited the man once nicknamed the vacuum cleaner, Kei Kamanishi, the outfielder whose love of baseball had desegregated Lillooet more than 60 years ago.
What's a vacuum cleaner? Well, you catch all the balls and get all the ground balls and you never missed. So they call me, nickname was a vacuum cleaner for a while. But still all the good memories coming back to me once you put the gloves on.
Oh, feel real good, real good. Yeah, that's the first time I played for 40 years. If I had a hit, I can't be more happy than that. Yeah.
I got a call from Tom Balke. He's the president and CEO of Baseball Hall of Fame. He's going to put Asahi pictures in Skydome. Isn't that something? Mm-hmm. What? We're going to put Asahi pictures in Skydome.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
the baseball establishment is starting to recognize what the Asahis accomplished. The Blue Jays are celebrating great moments in baseball. One of those moments, the Asahi dynasty.
I don't know if you can see the pictures too well.
Yes, old one,
Okay,
yeah.
remember?
Yes.
And then, on the season's tickets, there's the Asahis again.
Oh, yeah.
So, I couldn't wait to tell you.
Oh, so exciting.
That's, but see, Ken, it doesn't die out. It's still going on. You're going to be famous in Toronto.
Rose, why are you crying? Why are you crying?
Happy.
Too bad the brother was a star
Yes,
too, you know?
Mickey was
Yeah.
a great player too.
Yeah.
Was her brother. So we'll have to go to Skydome
And I'm a
and see
Blue
it.
Jay fan too.
What's that?
I'm a Blue Jay fan too.
Yeah.
The Asahi boys have finally been invited to the big leagues. And after much convincing, Yuki Uno has been persuaded to come from Montreal to the Toronto Skydome for the ceremony. Pitcher Miki Maekawa has accepted the invitation to throw the first pitch. Catcher Ken Kutsukake will be at home plate to receive the toss from his former battery mate.
Have you been to the Skyline before, to the field?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Long time
About
ago?
10 years ago.
Yeah. As you can see, it's overlooking the field.
Oh my goodness.
So you
this
can
is a
see the
real-
whole action. They open up the roof for you. It's gonna be a nice day today.
Yeah.
Which position did you used to play, Mr. Yuno?
First base.
First base. That's where all the money goes now, right? First baseman. They got all the big money now.
Yeah.
Carlos Delgado, John Olerud.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be good like them to make money.
Well, you should have probably be making that much money when you're years before.
No, we're real amateurs.
You play for the love of the game, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is something.
The Asahi team meant much more than just a baseball team. It was a whole philosophy of life almost, where you reach out and you get what you want and you work really hard at it.
They were gods. I think it's fair to say we worshiped them.
I'll never forget the Asahis. How can I? How can I? They were our pride of the community. The Asahi's name will live on forever. Nobody will ever forget them.